Just like the resource going on. It kind of goes and that comes up. It's over. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board meeting for September 18th, 2025. My name is Chris Snyder. I'm the staff liaison to the board. Kelly's also here with me. She's out manning the door, letting people in that are coming in person. And it is now 6:02 p.m. So it started. I'll do a roll call. Carly Wright, Chair.
Here.
Anton Cobb. Here. Vice Chair. Roger Williams, I do not see just yet. Aaron Zeisel.
Here.
Betsy Vega.
Here.
Tony Scully, see him yet. Christy Reed.
Here.
Melissa O'Shea.
Here.
And Moses Keener was online just a while ago.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, great.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we have quorum. Let's hand over to
Hey.
Carly. Sure.
Welcome, everyone. It's so great to see people in person and online. Thank you for joining us. Those of us in person have our agenda packets. There's also agenda packets in the wall there if you need them. And online, you should have got a message that you can download it. So we're going to go through our approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda. I motion. Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. We've got the first. There should be a page that is our typical DOT year, which I kind of open to. Because there's a lot of pages in there.
I didn't have the typical year in there. It's on the agenda packet, but it's not actually in the packet.
Well, thank you. We'll
Sorry.
skip over that. Well, our typical year, where we are right now, September, we are going to be finalizing review on and changes that were made for the application. And then next month, October, is our traditional time when we do the mandatory meeting for a few people who want to apply for funds, must attend 1 or 2 meetings. And then application opens November, it's due in December, and then we start grading them. So that's my
One correction.
Oh,
The applications will be available on the 10th of October. And then they are due 30 days later on November 7th.
there we go.
On a Monday.
Really corrected, because I would have had them a month behind and that would not.
No, that would have been good now.
No,
Because December you could be reviewing.
yeah, that's right. Oh, yes, we review in December. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion. I second.
Thank you, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Public comment. This is a time when anyone wishing here can.
Betsy motioned, I seconded.
Okay.
That's the motion. Anyone wishing to address the board on a matter other than what appears to the agenda can do so now. Do we have anyone? Don't see any hands up online. With that, we're going to move on to our items requiring action. So, our final grant changes and scoring matrix updates. There's a lot of information here, but Chris went through all of our summary recommendations that we talked about last time, are listed here. We actually made motions to accept not all of them. So the change for the ones that we made motions to accept changes or other requests that we made of Chris, like putting together a different, well, rather a clarified scoring criteria rubric. Chris has put that all together for us. So.
Yeah, this is mainly to just be a refresher of what recommended changes were requested or proposed. For those of you that missed the last meeting. And those motions and actions were recorded in the minutes from last week. So where those will be recorded. And then as we get into taking a look at the actual changes to the forms is where you can see those changes have taken place. Let's see, where should we start?
Well, I think that one of the things that were identified by new members last year when we were doing scoring, and even some that had been around, but being that our first year of reviewing grants and scoring them, was identifying how things like what categories they fit in, because the questions are, it's not like a here's the question, here's an answer. It was like questions all lead to certain things. So Chris went through and pulled together for the questions on the scoring criteria that match up now, saying like the organizational structure questions are, for instance, on facility operating, it's like question 8, question 9. So it's kind of a short list to help us when we're reviewing. As we're scoring them, we can be like, okay, for organizational structure, we should be looking at question 8, 9, 14, 15, and that. And then using those questions to figure out what the score is. So if they've aptly answered those questions, they'll get between 1 and 6 points, or rather 0 and 6, yes. But yeah, so he went through that for us for all 3. I think for me, being that I've graded them a few times and also been on the other side and applied a few times, it looks to me like it's helpful. I don't know if any of the new members or who haven't have any input on that or any thoughts. The hard thing is it might just come down to that moment when scoring and reading an application and actually seeing how they fit together. But I do think this will be helpful, knowing exactly what questions to be looking at or how you're going to be scoring and like what sections you're scoring in. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it's really a tool for the board members to help assist you with identifying. Okay, you're going to get a spreadsheet for your scores to record on, and it'll have a list of questions and the point scales for each one of those questions. And so this is kind of like the crosswalk summary. You know, there's 6 points for organizational structure, 9 points for funding goals, and this one is specific to the facility operators applications first. This is a way of looking at it. So facility operator grant scoring criteria. I put the summary walk across stuff above the actual questions that are meant to help you provide point levels for each one. So the organizational structure, you can see 6 points here. It matches what's over here on the summary level. And then these are the questions on the application that relate to the questions being asked and how you base the score. So the first question is, does the organization deliver quality programming and services? It's worth 2 points. And you can look at the questions 8, 9, 13, 14 through 15, and 17 to identify, do those questions answer this question on the scoring rubric for each of the points. So Hopefully it's not too confusing. Hopefully it helps, clarify a little bit.
Hard to say without having seen it before, but this is very intuitive to me. Without that information, it seems like it would be maybe a challenge to kind of keep your mind on just the section of questioning that would relate to that. So I appreciate the work of putting that together and identifying the group that identified it.
And this is put into the scoring manual, the grant manual. That's going to be available for all the applicants to have ahead of time when we go through the orientation. In fact, that's actually the next piece after we get through this. But let's see. So this is just one portion of the grant manual. There was a piece that I noticed. Always when you do this, you notice the mistakes or the pieces that, oh wait, maybe I should have thought about that.
After you print
But then,
it. But it's only after you printed it.
and it's only after you print it, correct? Exactly, that you catch that. So for example, I'll point this out, the board can decide if they would like to do or not do this. So this is the event in project one. And underneath the operating piece of it, we'll remind you that one of the changes that the board was recommending was that using a percentage of the TOT grant itself for marketing dollars, 25% being the percentage requested. Then we have on this question down here says, is the marketing expense as a percentage of revenue over 1%? And this is a percentage of the overall revenue being for the event.
I think we need to revise that because I think that's just gonna confuse people.
Yeah.
That we could just specifically say,
So we know we have the TOT grant piece. So there's two pieces simultaneously going. You have how much marketing are they spending on the event itself as a relationship, as it relates to the revenue coming in to put on the event. And then you have the board requirements to spend 25% of their grant piece on marketing. And I've got the table in both, so you can quickly identify how much 25% is.
yeah,
And on the budget sheet, it'll actually calculate both of those for you. But to hit 1% isn't too hard to do. So my recommendation, staff recommendation would be to make this like 10, 5, and 3% as being the point values. And I'll show you why when we look at the example in the grant manual and the expenditure budget sheet as to how that falls in. Bear with me for a second. Out here to the budget sheets. One of the recommendations was to add a blank budget sheet into the grant manual. So if you can see what that is, and then right below it is an example that's been completed. So in this scenario, we have a TOT grant of 8,000, and then they have various ticket sales and partnerships and other grants, monies that they get, so 16,000. And of course, the tripod would be right there behind, but you can see on the calculates what the percentages of the marketing. So 12%, they're spending $2,000 on marketing. That 2% represents 12% of the overall revenue sources. And then 25% of the marketing is of the 8,000, $2,000 is 25%.
so your suggestion, staff suggestion is 10%, 5%, and 2%, you said?
3%.
Or 3?
Yeah.
Because calculating. Yeah, I guess, right, it's if they ask for $10,000 and they spend, then it will calculate out.
Yeah, it'll calculate it out for you.
Same question. You mentioned the two tracks. Is the grant considered revenue?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, so up here, on the budget sheet, the top grant is calculated in for the revenue side of things. So
and it looked like it's all includes, you're looking for like 5% of that, including the grant.
including the grant, so yeah, it captures, it's calculating off of the total revenues of 16,500 or, yeah, 16,500.
Basically saying that you don't spend all
So-
your grant money.
So $2,000 of marketing money spent out of the 16 is the 12%. And it's also 25% of the TOT grant. Not to confuse anybody with numbers and percentages. But that's why I would recommend for adjusting that question on the scoring to 10%, 5%, 3%. No, that specific question is specific to overall revenue and how much they're spending on marketing. And that would be a quick, easy fix adjustment change.
So that way, when we're reviewing, we can just look at. I mean, really. We'll be able to look at either one of those. Obviously, if it's under the TOT marketing, it's gonna be 25% or more.
Yep.
But under the other marketing, just the general marketing compared to overall budget. Would then have, as long as it has a number
Yeah,
above 10, it would get 3 points. If it's 5 or more. Would get 2, 3 would get 1.
Yeah.
I think that,
Was the like example one that you had on there kind of like an average one from?
great question. For some of those larger events, some of them, I'm imagining World Beat Festival, they spend a lot more on marketing. I didn't plug those numbers in and how much they actually receive on revenue to be able to figure that out.
Yeah, they're like the outliers, but
But I imagine it's gonna be somewhere in that realm. And 1 point or 2 points off isn't gonna make a break. Those larger organizations. When they come to score. But if that does take them out, we can take a look at that. Get out. But that was the only thing that I came across, was like, I should probably bring this up and see if if the board feels that would be an appropriate adjustment. So somebody can move staff recommendation for the percent change in scoring criteria.
think of that.
So on time.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
I mean, other significant changes you can see. Highlighted throughout the manual.
so I'll go ahead and scroll on up to where we got to the top, that we can see what those changes are. In the grant manual. So here's where our Monday, November 17th, due date is for the applications. It's updated. And I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. No changes to the facility operator grant stuff. Capital improvement assets. The only change to that is in the application manual itself. We're changing it from required 3 votes for capital improvement project to down to 2. Then for the events, the board wanted to have a guideline put up there for, well, they made the recommendation for the what 25% of the grant amount would be for spending on marketing, direct marketing and promotion materials. So $3,000 would be $750, all the way down to $10,000 would be $2,500. Is what the 25% equates to. So that was one of the new requirements for the new events. And then the next one is, this is a recommendation that the board is recommending as a guidance. So a guide, it's not required, but it is highly emphasized that if you're putting on an event and you have an event attendance, anticipated attendance of 500 or less attendees, the maximum you should be requesting is like $5,000 for the grant award. 500 to 3,000 people, 6,000, 3,000 to 6,000 people, $8,000, and then 6,000 and above would be able to ask for the full 10,000. On the 500 to 5,000, that works out to be about $10 per guest, as being supplemented or supported by the TOT. So this is a guideline. If you feel that that isn't sufficient enough for your needs for your event, then you can ask for more, but be prepared to justify your ask in your application, and we'll have the final say.
So really, we're not stopping people from asking for whatever they feel they need. You know, apply for your funding as you need it, and then obviously it's the board will be scoring with our rubric, and you know, it is a recommendation. So just the idea is to have enough money that can go around with everyone, and also keep us sustained as being able to support all the events that are happening.
There's the 2 cost estimates for the capital improvement grants. Let's see. For the event grants, they've added a new piece where they're asking for past attendance. How many did you have? If you've completed this event in the past and you're putting it on your application as one of your past events, then include what the attendance level was, and then how much TOT did you receive for that event in the past. And so I'm currently working with IT to identify what our software online form can handle, whether it's another box for that, or if we just include it as part of the narrative on the question for that, which turns out to be question number 24 on the actual application. But those are the changes, aside from reducing the number of characters in each response section. So this is an example of that grant form. If it's possible, I'll see if I can get like a reminder little guidance box that would have that grant fund request dollar amounts added to the actual form itself, where they're going to have this funding request. If I can get guidance added, I'll have that done. But right now, I haven't got that there. And then majority of them are just the characters being changed, going from 7,500 down to 3,500 in an effort to condense the amount of reading that each of the board members has to do on all 50
Distinct answers. Yeah.
So brevity and clarity. And then there's the past attendance and past taught grant award notes. Any questions?
Just have a comment. I just want to say thank you from what it was before, and when we were getting through it, it was like all this jumble. But now to see it in clarity, I want to thank you for your work in putting this together. Definitely, it is much clearer picture than what we had.
Job. Good job, committee.
It took some brain power.
Oh my gosh.
I do have one question. We talked about before helping people so they could marketing. What is considered a marketing expense? And I don't know, is that something that should be put in the manual or just go over it when they come to the orientation?
That's a great question. you know, if we were to, there are places in the grant manual where we do provide some, you know, information. Like in this section right here,
Mhm.
where we talk about, you know, what is, diversity, equity, and inclusion tips. And then also when we provide, event measures,
Right,
and they could easily add another line that just has some examples of marketing examples. And I would appreciate any help with what that list would look like too.
Do you want it right now or?
Yeah, right now, come on.
on the spot, let's go.
On the spot.
If you, what I would suggest is creating like a Google Doc, we can all edit, just drop some. And improve it and improve the language in between meetings, so we don't do necessarily.
But we can't do public, maybe that should come.
Well, I know, but that way it would be done and then we can put it before the.
What?
Mhm. If you, this suggestion, if you want suggestions.
Anything has to be approved. Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess that's something to put in the parking lot for getting into next, and we can discuss it at the orientation.
Or you can direct staff to add some stuff.
Then what is,
Get what you,
yeah,
Mhm.
how do you feel about that, staff?
yes.
Ask them.
Yeah, waiting, I don't. I find it. It's whatever, I serve at the local bird.
I motion we direct staff to add a line about marketing that includes things like more than, you know, like ads, posters.
Some general examples.
Yeah. Some expansive examples.
Okay.
Yeah. My motion,
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
You're
You've now
welcome.
been empowered, Chris. Congratulations.
Give myself some work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that covers then all of our final grant changes. Do we need to make? I mean, we voted all last time, but do we need to vote as a whole?
Yeah, did you see those as the packet,
Yeah,
if you're approving it?
Okay.
Let's make it official.
do we need a motion to accept the, I cannot make a motion. I motion that we accept the revised applications and grant manual as presented by our staff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We got some.
Who seconded that motion?
That's it.
Betsy.
Yeah.
We now have our TOT grant orientation announcement, public notice.
Yeah, so it is that time of year again. Amazing how fast it comes. Every year. So this is our standard language and public notification for the next round of grant orientations, basically to go over with those folks who are looking to apply for a TOT grant to attend either in person or via the Zoom and listen to all these changes that we just talked about. Hopefully with a couple examples of actual applications forms to go through. And then you don't have to attend both, just have to attend one. We'll record all the individuals, all the organizations that appear. And that way we can somewhat control the applications as they are submitted to verify what organization was attended and which ones have not. So if you do represent more than one organization and plan on applying for all those organizations, you'll need to have that information on the sign-in sheet or provided during the orientation dates.
Did we change dates?
We didn't change dates.
It was like,
Someone's going on vacation.
what? You're not allowed to go on vacation.
I have a family member coming from far away.
They don't want to come to the meeting?
They don't want to come to the meeting. And I didn't want to hold it somewhere else. Also, I do kind of like it.
Yeah.
Zoom, not too bad. But yeah, so Tuesday, which is the second Tuesday of the month, at 6 to 8 here, we'll have the first orientation. And then Thursday, mid-morning, we'll have the second orientation. for those that can't make it on the Tuesday night.
And there is not then on the third Thursday TOT meeting. In lieu of,
Yeah, so there will be no TOT meeting for the month of October, because we're doing the orientations. And we do like having our board members attend those orientations, because then they get to hear exactly what I say and hold me accountable, and then they can also answer any questions that anybody else has too.
and that really does happen and it really does help. And so if perchance Chris forgets to invite you to add anything, speak up, because you're the ones that really kind of where the rubber meets the road of what's helpful, what you look for, what they should know, what's gonna help them, what's gonna help you. And it really does help if kind of half of you are at one and half of you at the other is ideal, or something of that nature.
Says organizations need to email a request for the Zoom link. Will we receive the Zoom link, or should we request in case we?
I'll automatically send out the Zoom link to all the email addresses that I currently use for our board meetings.
It's like 100 and something a lot.
Low hundreds. But all the organizations that have applied in the past, we have their email list, except for those that are turning over.
We will add you, Shelley.
So definitely get us your email address, cnider@cityofsalem.net. You haven't got one already. Zoom is not responding.
So it's also a case of if you know an organization who would be interested, once the notice goes out, please share the information far and wide. So that we can get the word out.
It really is mandatory. So if someone's not represented there, they don't get to apply. So if they need to make a representation by proxy to happen, they need to do that.
We need a motion to have you do some more work and send that out, or has it gone out?
So that's just
We're all good.
just approval of the publication as presented.
Yeah.
And there is a Spanish language version as well,
You do want a motion to
but a motion to approve
Approve it.
is
present for. Oh, nice.
Okay, I have a question. Our application? What languages is it available in?
it's online and it will translate based on the browser.
So using the mechanical translation.
Okay.
I've shown it in Dutch before.
We have a motion about the press release.
Press release.
I motion to approve press releases. Staff.
My second. All in favor?
Aye.
I guess I'm supposed to be asking any discussion. Sorry, guys, I don't let us discuss anything.
I'll write the steps down for you, just have them. in front of you.
I'm like, wait, discussion? No.
Do they have this in Spanish last year? I don't think so. Do they? They did?
Yeah,
Press release.
And then you're gonna be sending this out to.
Yeah, it goes to, we have a public information officer communications team. And so I give it to them every year and they put it out on the city web page and then they blast it out to their connections.
And it'll be on the CTPAB page.
We got the web page for the board.
And usually local media does pick it up and share it. So, we're like, generally, I can't guarantee anything because I don't control them all. But like the Statesman and Salem Reporter, usually they do put like added information on their websites too. So hopefully the reach can get out there in all the public places.
Fine, okay.
Next up, we have the Cultural Tourism Fund report for August.
So August is kind of the first month that we get any data. Because what we do is the August data is actually for July activity. We give hoteliers and leaders 30 days to collect their bit, whatever they collected from the TOT collections. So everything's kind of going like it normally would on a monthly basis. Not much to see here. There's only 1 month worth of data. Expenditures, slightly down for some of the places, but not a whole lot to see when we take a look at the month data. How much was collected in the month of August of 2024. We are down 10.5%. And there's all types of reasons that could be associated with that. But at this point in time, we're just keeping an eye on how things are going. We haven't heard a lot about tourism in general. The current environment, there could be some impact on that.
We've got our facility operating grant reports that have been submitted. And then our event grant reports and our capital reports. I will leave that all for your guys' reviewing pleasure on the other times. But they are there for your reference. You'd like to read them. And then we've got our roundtable discussion and appearance of interested citizens. So this is an opportunity of those at our meeting to address the board and share upcoming events and news.
You want to introduce yourself and organization you're from?
Right there.
I'm Terry Romero. I am with the World Beat Festival. And our next exhibit that's coming up is Legetla. And it is about the country of Oaxaca, the southernmost state of Mexico. And mostly about the dances and what the celebration means to Oaxaca. So we hope we can make it. The opening reception is on the 25th. And I heard there will be mole made from a Oaxacan grandma. And that would be fun to see everything. And kudos to Charlie. Beautiful artwork. And then another event that we've got coming up is the Ethiopian restaurant opening up. And they're celebrating their New Year's next weekend, the 20th and 21st. And it's a 4-hour event, but if you can come support them, that would be great. They've just opened up where the Indian restaurant used to be over on Lancaster and Sunnyview. And he just got notice that he's got 45 days to move. Just opened and the landlord was sold the building. So if anyone can come and help support them, that would just be kind. And his other daughter cancer. She's a baby. Let's see, we've got a dragon boat expert who has filmed our dragon boaters, and they're going to be reviewing how well they are actually doing the boating on Friday and Saturday, and they'll be staying overnight, I believe, for that. And I forgot, these folks are going to be bringing in a dance troupe also, who was on, I think, one of the Tonight shows or late shows here recently. So in that 4-hour dinner, it's going to be some entertainment also. I mentioned that, and that was wonderful. I'm out Dragon Boat and come see our gallery exhibit. Thank you, Jerry.
I was away most of the summer. I had heart surgery on July 3rd, open heart surgery. Back in the saddle.
Welcome
And
back.
we've got some exciting projects coming up. Opening in a week is an exhibition called Memories and Inspiration. It's the Carrie and C. Betty Davis collection of African American art. It's Davises are basically an ordinary couple, a working class couple. He's a retired postal worker, and she is a retired television news producer. And they decided about 35 to 40 years ago that they got really interested in art and began amassing a collection on a limited budget, but began amassing a collection of African American art, which now is well over 300 objects. And we have 62 objects on view at the Halley Ford Museum of Art. The exhibition opens next Saturday, September 27th, runs through December 20th. And we've got a number of programs planned in conjunction with that. We've got Carrie and Betty are flying out from Atlanta, and I'm going to be basically having a conversation with them on Saturday, September 27th, 5 to 6 p.m., kind of talking about their collection, how they got interested, how they built the collection over the years, what's going to happen to the collection, so on and so forth. And then there'll be a reception from 6 to 8. And then the following Tuesday, which is September 30th, they'll be giving a kind of a personal gallery talk, walking tour of the exhibition. And both of those events are free. Later on in October, Rebecca Dopkins, who's my curator of Indigenous art, is going to be giving a gallery talk on, I think it's Tuesday, October 14th. We'll be giving a gallery talk on the Crow Shadow Institute of the Arts Biennial, which is on view upstairs in the study gallery in Prince Study Center. And then later on, in the fall of November, we're inviting an African-American scholar, Amalia Amaki, to campus to give a lecture on sort of the history of modern and contemporary African-American art. She's also going to be doing a gallery talk and meeting with classes. So we've got a very full schedule of events. I've got some invitations and for both. Ask for got one for everybody.
Yes, John.
Thanks so. And other than that, going strong. I'm going to retire in a year. So I guess that's an announcement. I'm retiring on September 4th, 2026. And why September 24th, you might ask? Well, I started my career on September 8th, 1976, as founding director of Bellevue Art. And that was the Tuesday after Labor Day. So September 4th is the Friday before Labor Day in 2026. So if I retire on September 4th, 2026, I will have been a museum director on the West Coast for 50 years. I figure that's long enough. In the meantime, we've got a lot of really exciting projects. This coming up, we're doing a major retrospective Salem artist, Dan May, after the first of the year. And one of my final projects is I'm writing a history of the Hallie Fuller Museum of Art. Thank you. Congratulations. There you go.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll just share really quick. Sorry, I'm Kara with Travel Salem. So we have what we're calling MoPo Mixers. These are just casual events. Our next one is Thursday, October 30th, and it's at Marco Polo Restaurant, and it's 4 to 6 p.m. and it's just any stakeholders can come by, meet the staff, talk to us. It's very casual get together. So anyone's welcome to come and just show up and for that. And then on Thursday, November 6th, we have our tourism industry summit and awards. And that is at the Salem Convention Center from 11 to 4. And that's basically, educational seminars. We'll do some keynote presentations and then our awards for our industry awards for both. And Tom's very familiar with this because he put ours on last year and he did an amazing job executing it. So that's a really great that a lot good stuff to follow up on the legacy there. So
What was the date?
For the 6th, Thursday, November 6th, 11 a.m. to 4, basically. Yeah,
It's Lisa's.
that's what I got. And then just again, as events, are back in swing, please post your events to our events calendar. It's free and we like to be able to share that out as a regional kind of, clearinghouse for different events and share that on our social media channels. So everything you guys are doing, please post those there or send them to me and I'm happy. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Shelley Usselman. I'm here representing Festival of Brown, Oregon, and I'm replacing Brian Gonzalez in that role. He was president. He has moved on to much more free time And I'm taking on kind of the grants role. I'm here with also a grant adjustment. We're gonna do that thinking through.
Totally forgot.
Okay, that's we needed to submit a grants adjustment. Our award was for doing Carmina Burana in the spring. And we found out soon after that 4 other organizations, in addition to Willamette of course, they're also doing it in the spring. And then 3 other organizations did it between June and December of this year. So we decided to not throw another, as much as I love the pieces, everything to do, but so instead we shifted to Levis Leader Waltz's the wedding cantata, and then something else that's completely out of my brain right now, to not oversaturate the.
So just a change in what's being performed.
Correct, just the change in the program, the venue and the date and everything are still the same.
Does the board want to make a motion of approval for that?
I motion to approve.
Second.
You're welcome. It's been seconded by Carly.
Second by Carly.
Well, any discussion? Good, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
What is your next event?
I wasn't sure I didn't know what to
Please
prepare,
go
and I
your next
panicked because I don't have service down here and
It's okay.
it's in English and it's about Christmas and I can't remember it right now, and I am representing wonderfully, so
No, you're fine.
send the link.
So I'm Christine with the Willamette Master Chorus, and yes, we are doing Carmina Burana in the spring. My least favorite piece of music, but it is very popular and it is already oversaturated, whether people are performing it or not. Just by nature of the music. And our next event is our Veterans Concert, our 41st annual Veterans Concert, which is November 8th and 9th, Saturday and Sunday. Because it is completely not just choir this year. There's an ensemble and there's a high school honor choir singing along. So we have moved it to Smith Auditorium, where we normally do it in Hudson Hall at Willamette. So it's going to be highlighting songs from Broadway and theater, and in honor of wartime and veterans. So so it's going to be completely different from what we're used to doing, but still the quality that we're used to doing with our 83 members this year. I want to say thank you to Carly for including us in the press play without me sending my dates to her. So I do appreciate that. And yeah, so that's where we are. We just finished sending out and getting back our subscription renewal forms, and we have just opened our website and my phone up for single ticket sales, and people that want to subscribe for the season also can do that. So that's where we are in our season.
Lisa, the Willamette Arts Center, I see you. Hand up, can you hear us?
I should unmute when I put my hand up. Hi, Lisa Joyce, Executive Director at Willamette Arts Center. I just want to give an update. We are, okay, anybody who's done like major renovation in their home know that you're like at the mercy of the contractors and the availability of materials and all that sort of thing. We have now our floor is in, our new electrical system is in, our plumbing's almost done. We're getting our lights replaced with LEDs. That's a free program through the Energy Trust. All of these things working toward reopening, but there's a few weeks to go. One of the questions I've been asked a little bit lately is, what about empty bowls? We are not doing empty bowls this year because we haven't had a studio to work from, and we had to really curtail, like we stopped in early June producing any work in our studio at the fairgrounds. So we're excited about this new location with the accessible parking, and we're working toward getting a truly accessible door. So it is a place you can just roll in and start making art.
Cool.
Or Sagan, where their new location is.
Yeah, Lisa, can you share the address?
Oh,
for the
yeah,
lead
yeah.
location?
Absolutely. It's at 3995 Fairview Industrial Drive, Suite 100. We're right across from the wetland project that will never be developed. So that's where the building is. It has, like I said, it's on mass transit, it's bicycle paths run right by there. It's a very much more easy to access facility than what we had prior.
Thank you. Brady?
Thank you.
Well, hello, Chris, and good evening, everyone. Let's see, over at the carousel, we are gearing up for our Carousel Bash, which will happen October 25th. So it'll be a week before Thanksgiving, before Halloween. And we are also preparing for, the big jolly elf himself, Santa, coming. So that will kick off in November with his arrival by train and then followed by all of our holiday events. And also, we had received a grant from Travel Oregon to update our wheelchair ramp, and we'll have an updated wheelchair ramp, an entire new entrance around the carousel, the platform itself, and that should be hopefully completed by the end of October. So we're very excited about that. So that's what's happening at the carousel.
There's a new issue of Press Play. If you guys haven't got it, there's some over there. You can read it online or
Notes?
Oh,
Thank you everyone for sharing.
Yeah.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Gershon.
so other business or parking lot items for future discussion. I think is our parking lot empty-ish?
Sure, sure.
Is it? Is there pages
Till
here?
next year.
Oh, till next year.
We'll find something to fill up.
With that, yeah, if there's nothing else, then we have to adjourn. Oh, sorry,
Just
apologies.
one last thing.
Good.
I know we're not gonna be meeting, but I was voted in, so I haven't publicly announced it. Okay, sorry. Here, I guess, because
Congratulations, everyone's gonna know whatever it is.
yeah. So I was voted into as a candidate for City Council Ward 6, and I'll be running and starting my campaign next week. So
How exciting. Well, if there's nothing else, then that's it. The meeting is adjourned.
You have the orientations in October.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
See, when I don't let you discuss anything, we finish. Apologies, I'll make sure I get my stuff in order next time.
Me too.
That's what it was. I didn't have a name, so I was like, oh.
Chris, did we already tell you which orientation?
this